What an absolutely exciting build we've got here. This has been an absolute monumental amount of work to get it to where it is today. And I can tell you confidently that it's probably one of the best street combos that we've done when you take into consideration the size of the supercharger. So this combo here is a 6 litre, so stock stroke 6 litre bottom end, Blackwell ported CNC heads, with the baby Harrop 2300. And I'm going to call it a baby because we're using 2650s now on everything. But this one was a 2300. Customer had the blower, so we had to deal with what we had. But when he supplied it with an LSA drive, which opened up the door to a few other complications. So the decision was made, let's build an engine, let's make something so we can use it all up, use all the boost, use the whole amount of the blower that's got to give. And this is kind of what we've come up with. So the total package worked out to be it's a pretty wild bit of gear when you think about it. So transmission got done, it's got an RVO 6-speed in it, Circle D stall converter, twin disc lockup, and you need it when you got this sort of power in the blower because we do lock up the converter in the top end. Try and do that with a normal converter and you'll just blow it to pieces. So you really need a twin disc, a good quality converter, and Circle D is the converter of choice when it comes to these builds. And then the engine side of things is so it's a stock stroke, stock crank. It's got the Comstar rods, CP bullet pistons, 9.5 to 1 compression, 98 octane fuel, and of course, you know, all the BTR gear, BTR rockers, BTR extreme springs, so the 703s. It's got the BTR stage 4 PDS cam. If you're following along our channel and you've been watching us, you know how much I love that cam. It is the ultimate blower cam, as far as I'm concerned. It's, you know, back all that up with all their valve gear and you've got something that's gonna wanna rev. And look, this camshaft has proven itself time and time again that it will go to 8,000 no matter what. Like this is the first one we've done with the 2300 and really stretched it out. All our 2650 builds, so with all the other blowers that we've tried, we've been going to 81, 8200 with this camshaft, no worries at all. And I tell you, like the extreme springs, that camshaft with the Blackwell heads and a bit of boost, you will go to 8,000. I don't care if you say you don't want to rev it. The engine wants to go there. It's where it wants to go. Do not argue with an engine. When an engine tells you it wants to go there, you need to build it so it's capable of going there. And I tell you now, this thing goes there, it goes there easy. You'll hear it in the video. It will go to 8100, all gears, full power. I didn't think the 2300 would supply the air, and it does it so well. It's actually a really good combo. Like, it made like 614 odd kilowatts at the wheels, which is pretty damn impressive on 14 pounder boost. So, but yeah, one of the big things that we sort of took from this build was that this had the LSA, I just fixed the camera up, sorry. This had the LSA front drive. So with the LSA front, I'm just going to get my camera right, it's playing games with me here. So with the LSA drive, it's obviously got the extra belt, the same as the LSAs do, but it also gave us the ability to use a 110 integrated snout. Now, when we got this blower off the customer, it had the standard throttle body snout on it. And we could see when we were doing the first tune-up on it, when we were doing the initial baseline, that we could see the restriction in the nose because I knew it wanted to make the power. It wanted to go there, but it was nosing over pretty hard. So I spoke to the customer, and the customer was all about getting the best of what this combination had to deliver, and he wanted us to work through it stage by stage. If we got it on the dyno and we could see there was room for improvement, it was do it. It was no questions asked, it was just do it. And thank you to our customer, Paul. He allowed us to build it the way the engine wanted to be. We listened to the engine. I know it sounds a bit sort of weird and tinfoily hatty, but you've got to listen to these engines, and when it's telling you once more, you've got to follow the trail, and it will lead you to goodness at the end. I know it sounds like a bit of a preachy line there, but it's listen to the engine. It's telling you what it wants. So. When we swapped over to the 110 snout, 45 kilowatts is what we picked up in the nose by changing the throttle body from the GM 90mm to the Harrop 110mm with the integrated front. 45 kilowatts, that's free power, no extra boost. That's how much it was holding it back in the front. So, that's a lot, and I don't see the point in going to all this effort, building such an awesome combination that's capable, and then sticking a rag, you know, in front of the engine. It just doesn't work. So thanks to our customer letting us just do what had to be done. And you know, the 110 is an absolute must. So if you're putting a blower on these things and you are actually intending on making some power and not just going, oh, I'm just going to rev it to 6,000 and shut it down. Yeah, the 110 snout is an absolute must tick on your order form. Get it. It does create issues with tuning, I won't lie about that, but the reward is so great at the end. What other cool things have we done with this? So it's got the KPM 1000 fuel pump module in the tank, and we've put an SQP JMS voltage booster in the back with the Vaporworks Smart Ramp. We get these off John at SQP in WA, and that's a really good system. And some people don't like voltage boosting, but you're not actually putting much in it. So we're putting 16.5 volts on the back side of the fuel pump module. And then because it's PWM controlled, the fuel pump, the ECU or the fuel pump control module, it is trying to maintain our target fuel pressure, in this case being 4 bar. And the moment the fuel pressure starts to drop below 4 bar, it will start to speed the fuel pump up. So you'll see at idle, the fuel pump sits at around 7 volts. And then as you start to increase power and fuel demand and all that sort of stuff, you'll see the voltage start to ramp up because the voltage is chasing the fuel pressure, which is all based around fuel usage. So it's a really cool thing, and it stops you from heating your fuel up. It's just a must-have. It's a really good system. Works really well. It's available in your VE Series 2s into your VFs, and it works exceptionally well when you know how to work with it. And at the end of all our power runs at this power level with the KPM 1000 module, and it's got the 1000cc excess injector, we were seeing no more than 15 volts at the end and a rock solid 4 bar fuel pressure the whole way across the RPM. So what that tells me is we've still got 1.5 volts of voltage that it can put on top of the fuel pump, meaning we've got heaps of headroom left. And I don't know if you're watching this and you're familiar with what voltage does to a fuel pump. You know, the difference between having a fuel pump at say 13.5 volts and 14.5 volts can be anywhere from 50 to 70 litres per hour. Now that's literally an extra fuel pump. So it's a lot. So if you can get a fuel pump and maintain, say for example, 14.5 volts or rock solid 14.5 volts, because most cars have a massive voltage drop from front to rear. In these cases, the battery's in the back, but they do have a voltage drop. You can be missing out on free fuel. So sometimes you're upgrading your fuel pumps for no apparent reason. It's only because you have lack of voltage. So the JMS voltage booster is really good at actually maintaining a rock solid voltage. And if you don't want to run 16.5 volts, whatever, you can turn it down to 15 volts or 14 volts or whatever you wish. It's fully adjustable and it's a great system. I recommend it in any of these things when you've got a blower and this sort of fuel pump. So it's a great thing. So props to Johnny at bringing these into Australia. They're a really great thing. But let's check out the dyno. This is the absolute sugar, the cherry on top, I should say. So 614 kilowatts, 856 newton meters of torque. And there's your RPM graph there. Look at that. That's 8,000 revs. It just holds it. Look at that. Holds it. That's it. 2650, 82, 8300, no worries if you had a bigger blower. But you can see there, converter's locked, 2000 RPM. Bring it all the way up and you've pretty much got a consistent, it starts, say 2000 revs, this is the best part, 2000 revs, it's got 720 newton meters and it peaks at around 4600 revs, holds it to like 5800 revs, and by 8000 it's back to say 720, so it's back to where you start with. I call that a very linear torque curve. And I know there's going to be some bogans and guys who come on here and they're going to say, my LS makes, with a camshaft, makes 650 or 700 newton meters. No, you do not. Do not comment in the bottom of this video telling me that your aspirated LS makes that power. I don't care if it's a 450, 500 cuber, it ain't gonna make 856 newton meters of torque. And don't forget, this is revving to 8,000 RPM. And as I've said in previous videos, to make a lot of torque, you've got to make a lot of power in the low RPM range. So if an LS1 can produce 800 newton meters of torque, it's got to be making, it's got to be making 350, 400 kilowatts at 3,000 revs. And mate, that ain't possible unless you've got the giggle gas on it. and if it's got the giggle gas on it, it'll probably throw the legs out of bed anyway. So please don't come here and comment, because I get it on my videos all the time where people come on and say my torque figures are low. They are not low. I use actual RPM off the engine to the dyno, and torque is calculated off RPM. That's how you get torque. So if you are using ratio, as in calculated torque from your rear wheels, which is impossible with an automatic transmission, mind you, you get inflated numbers, and that's why you're probably sitting here looking at me going, you're a tripper. No, I'm not a tripper. You're a tripper. Your tuner's a tripper, or your workshop's a tripper if they give you those numbers. So yeah, just a quick ramble just to clarify that one. I've made videos on that, but anyway, enough about that. This is all done on the hub dyno, as always, the best proving dyno for doing this sort of work. As you can see, there it is there. It's obviously disconnected from it. But yeah, look, what an awesome build. 614 kilowatts, 14 pound of boost, 850 newton meters of torque, 6 litre, no big cubes inside, baby Harrop 2300 blower with a 110 snout, and it looks awesome. It's almost stockish looking, and you will never have a problem with the officers with this thing, mate. It's absolutely cool as. So big shout out to our customer. Thank you for giving us the opportunity. It was an exciting and awesome build. I don't want to give it back to him because I love it so much. But yep, there's a time where you've got to hand the keys back to the customer, and the time has come to say goodbye, my lover. So, but yeah, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching. As always, BTR, you're just not going to find a better camshaft. Don't care what world you're from. The BTR Stage 4 camshaft in boosted application is the only camshaft that IMS or myself or my company and business and what I recommend. It's really the only booster cam, because I'm yet to find anything that completely come close to it, match it, or get anywhere near it. Sounds great, makes power, works great, and you know what? Ain't no E85 inside on this car, and you'll probably find there's a lot of cars out there can't even make this power on E85. So I'm not gloating. I'm not saying we're the best. What I'm saying is that when you get the combination right, you use the right parts, the right heads, and combine that together with some good proper tuning, you get awesome results like this. And this is absolutely fantastic, and I'm absolutely wrapped with it. So let us know what you think in the comments, but just leave the torque one out of the comments, because I'll just ignore you. They're just stupid comments, them ones. But want to talk about what we've got, what we can supply you with. We've got all this stuff on the shelf, BTR all on the shelf, BDR4s on the shelf, all the springs, you name it, we got it from BDR. Anything else you need, give us a holler. Thanks guys, see you on the next video.